Now, I wanted to ask as well, you are, as I said earlier, one of the most well-known people in the country. What do you think is a misconception people might have about you, the work you do, and how would you correct it? Is there something you think?
No, in general, in Albania, now, because in the beginning, it was much more concentrated. Now the people can think the different. In general, I don't care about the comments. I don't care about the
Do you
people.
read them?
I care too much about some of my friends.
Yes.
We are the people who started the journalism with me, and which whom I discuss still about the shows. If some of them can tell me the show was not good or something goes wrong or something, I care about the story and start to discuss or to understand what was the problem. It was my problem, it was the problem of the guest, it was the problem from, let's say, in general. But about the other people, for me, I don't have too much interest on that.
And looking back on your career as well, obviously you still have a long way to go, but is there anything you would have changed or done differently?
Mostly nothing. I can say I will do always the same way with my mistakes, with my problems, maybe with my inexperience, because at the beginning it was an experience. And I want to live now, because now I'm in the end of a circle, because 36 years in journalism, it is not very easy. Maybe I can have more 10 years, or I don't know, even less or even more. But in general, I produce the most of my, let's say, product. At the moment, I'm looking to do something about the history of Albania. In the beginning, in 91, 92, we didn't have any idea about the real history of Albania, because we had only the communist version, which was
Yes,
corrected and not real, fake in some things. And I learned a lot from the old people, not from the historians, from the people who passed on those moments of the history. And now I want to leave to the people as much as I can about my experience, especially in the history of Albania.
I think there's a big gap around communism where people don't know as much as they should, don't want to know as well. Do you think, and sometimes I think, we have to talk more about all the things that happened there. We have to make people aware, but then there seems to be another train of thought from people, look, it's the past, let's just move on. Where do you stand
Because
in
the
this?
communism has been a very bad thing in the Albanian history. And being a bad thing also has been a problem for everybody. Has been a problem inside of the family. You can find the people in the same family who someone collaborated with Sigurimi, who gave the information about his family member, his friends. And in the beginning, this was a very big problem. Now, with the distance of the time, we are something like 35 years from the fall of the communism. The people are more concerned about the communism, but now it's too far.
Yeah.
I think we are the only country in the East Europe who doesn't have nothing about the communism. We don't have books, real books I'm talking, not memories, because the memories are memories. Memories not always are the real version of the history. We don't have books. We don't have books about our dictator, about communism, or we have, but we have yes, not enough as normally we could had about the communism. And in the other side, we haven't talked as much as we need about our past, because if we don't analyze our past, it's very difficult to understand why we made the mistakes today. In some point of view, when I follow the electoral campaign, because when the communism was, when the regime was changed in Albania, it was something like 20, 21 years old. And I remember very well the communism. Some chance of the, or some moments of the electoral campaign of today, they're identical with the, let's say,
Tactics.
not the tactics, but with this, let's say, the mise en scène of the communism. You know, the people, the way they approach to the leader, how they talk to the leader. it's stupid. It's something from the past more than something of today.
I see the mass emigration of people as well as sort of a side effect of this trauma that is passed down from generation to generation. It creates a disconnect between people and their country. They feel the bitterness and frustration from their parents who have all this unresolved trauma and things. And I think this drives people to leave as
Yeah,
well. But I worry, you know, there's lots of projects I want to do about communism memory and things like missing people, for example. But I worry that people they want to move on from it. And I don't think there's political will either.
Yeah, I think you are right on that way. We have something like 6,000 people without, still missing, and without, let's say, a place where their people can send some flowers or can go for the religious moments to put something like a candle or something like that. But in the other way, I don't think the immigration comes only because of the past. No. I know very well because during the visits abroad, I met the people, young people who said me, the parents said, you don't go back in Albania, even for the visits. This country has a very bad past. This country never will change, and they want to know why. Why this country what is the problem with this country? It's very difficult to explain on them how the communism was in Albania, why the communism in Albania was much more radical than the other East European countries, why the Albania was not invited by the Soviet Union. It was much more fanatic on the communism than the country who were under the occupation of the Soviet army. Why the Albania, when the Soviet Union, it was changing let's say, the line going a little bit more liberal with Khrushchev, Albania chose to go to Mao Zedong and to continue with the hard line of the communism. Why the Stalin was a myth and a hero in Albania till the December of 1990. We need now a real, let's say, real studies and a real the profundation on those subjects which still are without an answer.
Unresolved. My last question, are you working on any new book at the moment or other projects?
I'm working in 2 or 3 projects. Usually I have some projects on the books. I want to publish, but maybe a little bit later, a book about all those years on Albania from 90, from the fall of the regime till now. Will be a book easy to read for someone who want to know something, to have an idea about those 35 or 40 years. I don't know when I will publish this one in Albania. For this year, if I could, I will publish a book about my travel abroad. I have visited 154 countries, and it's very interesting because I was born in the most isolated country in the world.